Ladies and gentlemen, this is DVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. The Christmas and New Year period can sometimes lead to madness, as clearly evidenced by Robert Fico, the man, the myth, the Moscow parade enthusiast. After his cozy little ta-ta-ta with Putin, the Slovakian Prime Minister mysteriously vanished. Where did he appear? In Vietnam, of course. Not in a modest guest house, mind you, but in a luxury hotel, tossing euros around like confetti at a Kremlin New Year's party. So, what triggered this sudden exotic escapade? Did the Kremlin hand out holiday bonuses for exceptional loyalty to the motherland? Or perhaps poor Robert needs a little spa treatment after the traumatic experience of Ukraine turning off the Russian gas tap? And let's not forget Viktor Orban. When he's not blocking EU aid to Ukraine or calling for his version of peace, also known as let Russia keep whatever it stole, he's probably somewhere admiring Fico's vacation photos thinking, man, I've got to step up my game. While Ukraine fights for its survival, Europe's dynamic duel of Fico and Orban seems determined to remind us that loyalty to democracy is optional, but loyalty to discounted Russian gas, now that's eternal. And now a look at the new year in the post-Soviet wonderlands, where propaganda sparks brighter than the fireworks and reality is carefully edited out of the frame. In Belarus, state media proudly announced that every third citizen tuned in to watch Alexander Lukashenko's annual New Year address. That's right, folks. 2 million Belarusians bravely endured Europe's last dictator rambling about tractors, sovereignty, and suspiciously well-fed potatoes. The other 2/3? Probably busy standing in line for discounted sausages or pretending that their TV were accidentally broken. Meanwhile, in Russia, the State Duma is living in the past and the future, with Anatoly Westerman confidently predicting the glorious resurrection of the USSR. Now, according to him, empires may crumble, but they always come back, bigger, better, and presumably with even more statues of Lenin. You almost have to admire the optimism. Almost. And if you missed Putin's annual Dear Comrade speech on TV, don't worry, it's now been displayed on billboards and screens in every major Russian city, turning Moscow into the world's largest dystopian drive-in theater. From Vladivostok to St. Petersburg, over 12 million lucky citizens can now stare at a glowing Putin delivering key phrases about victory, resilience, and how it's definitely NATO's vote. So here's to another year of Polish propaganda, crumbling infrastructure, and leaders who promise the return of vampires while their citizens dream of affordable bread. Happy New Year, comrades! May your screens be bright, your slogans loud, and your reality sufficiently blurred. Cheers. Big corpos, where principles are optional but profits are forever. While Ukraine fights for survival and Western leaders give grand speeches about solidarity, some business executives are busy dusting off their Cyrillic keyboards and preparing to crawl back into the warm radioactive embrace of Mother Russia. First up, McDonald's. Yep, the iconic burger empire, once hailed as a symbol of Western freedom, is reportedly plotting a comeback tour in Russia. They filed over 50 trademark applications, including one for the prestigious Hamburgerology University, because clearly the Kremlin needs more specialists in assembling double cheeseburgers under portraits of Vladimir Putin. But wait, the Germans are also playing their part in this grand theater of irony. While shaking their heads solemnly at Moscow's action, they've quietly increased uranium imports from Russia by 70% in 2024. That's right, while German officials dropped stern letters of condemnation, uranium rods from Siberia are being unpacked in Lower Saxony faster than you can say Ingeniewanda. And let's not forget Putin himself, gleefully announcing plans to export uranium to Western countries, nicely prepackaged on Orishnik missiles, of course. Nothing says sustainable energy cooperation like enriched uranium with the side of geopolitical blackmail.
Сегодня надо просто бить всех, не разбирая. Если у нас объявили террор нашим военачальникам, политическим деятелям, я не понимаю, что нас сдерживает от того, чтобы там перестрелять всех на Украине и в округе, честно говоря. Ну или взорвать. Я, может быть, грубо говорю. Но я хочу напомнить, как ликвидировали Троцкого, как ликвидировали Бендеру. Нам же за это не стыдно, правда, никому в стране? За то, что мы этих преступников ликвидировали. Никому же не стыдно.
Но те, кому стыдно, они уже уехали, поклоняются могиле Бандере и прочее.
И на сегодня, наверное, вот эти правила игры не нам должны диктовать, а мы должны диктовать. Чтобы все сидели по бункерам, чтобы боялись нос высунуть, чтобы за каждое слово попытались, начали думать, когда что-то говорят. Британия великая. С чего она великая? Вы отправили 15 тысяч человек. Ну, давайте мы с этим островом когда-то раз навсегда покончим. Я уже про это говорил. Если кто-то считает о том, что если мы сотрем с лица земли Британию, и кому-то от этого станет хуже, в том числе и нам, не станет. Ответка прилетит? Не прилетит. Не прилетит. Потому по простой причине, что стратегические ядерные силы России сегодня в полной боевой готовности. РСМ в полной боевой готовности. Лодки можно вывести в районы боевого предназначения. Они там спокойно до полгода могут находиться. Ничего им не мешает. Ну и стратегическую авиацию рассредоточить по аэродромах, а 55-е со спецбоеприпасом, наверное, пора по 200. Чтобы не было желания. А вот орешникам, теми же калибрами, мы вполне можем достать туда, и от этого острова ничего не останется.
Hey, but who cares about ethics when there's a quarterly earnings report to impress shareholders? Somewhere in a European boardroom, a CEO is probably nodding along to a PowerPoint slide that says, profits irreales. So, shout out to McDonald's, uranium traders, and every executive who looks at the Russian war machine and thinks, you know, there's still money to be made here. Bon appetit, ladies and gentlemen, just don't choke on a hypocrisy. Russia, the only place where even Santa Claus, Grandpa Frost, looks like he's just stumbled out of a 3-day bender. While the rest of the world gets cheerful St. Nicholas on December 24th, Russian children eagerly wait Grandpa Frost on New Year's Eve, because nothing says holiday magic like a bearded grandpa showing up late, reeking of cheap liquor, and asking if anyone's seen his sack of presents or his dignity. This year, poor Grandpa Frost seems to have overdone it at the Kremlin's New Year gala. Spotted staggering through the snowy streets of some forgotten Russian town, he looked less like a festive figure and more like an extra from a Soviet-era detective movie. Rumor has it that he pawned half the presents for a bottle of vodka and a pack of unfiltered cigarettes.
Смотри, Дед Мороз идет. Скорее. Пьяный Дед Мороз идет.
Смотри, ползет Дед Мороз. Эх, напился.
Видишь его? Пьяный.
Додуматься.
Весь костюм порвал, а?
Растут большие города, все для народа. В любое время года нам навстречу встает великая страна. Добрый вечер, привет с большого дома.
But can you blame him? Spreading holiday cheer in a country where the state budget prefers tanks over toys must be exhausting. Somewhere between handing out expired candy and posing for photos in front of Lenin statues, Denmark seemed to have realized, why bother? The kids are probably drafting their conscription letters anyways. Happy New Year's to Russia's favorite drunken holiday mascot. May he stumble into 2025 with at least one boot still on, his beard mostly intact, and maybe, just maybe, a present left in his sack that hasn't been repurposed for the front lines. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.